We can now bring in Hadas Jaoui-Kalderon. You were resident of the Nir Oz kibbutz in southern Israel. Your mother and your niece were killed on the 7th of October by Hamas, and your two children, 12 and 17-year-old Erez and Sahar, were taken hostage. They were away from you for 52 days before their release. Ofer, their father, and your ex-husband remains in Gaza. Now you've written a book titled 52 Days Sans Eux, 52 Days Without Them, which will be coming out in English. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on France 24. Firstly, I have to ask you, how are your children doing?
My children, they got through an earthquake. It's like a very traumatic situation, and their father's still there. He's still kidnapped and as hostage. So they can't really be cured before he come back. They can't really get a normal life. And they lost a lot. They lost their confidence. They lost their happiness. They lost their innocence.
What do they tell you about their time there?
It's a long story, they tell me many things. Especially the most powerful thing is that they were very, very helpless and very frightening. The fear was very strong because they didn't know what's going to happen. They didn't know who from their family is dead, who is alive. They've been separated, and they were very, very, very afraid. They didn't know if they're going to be murdered or raped or abused or touching.
Were they kept together?
No.
They were separated?
They were separated from the beginning.
And did they see their father when they were in Gaza?
They were all separated, but there was a meeting between my girl, Sahar, and her father. Yes, there was a meeting, yeah.
Were they fed, were they treated okay while they were there?
They were in a very bad conditions. They were hungry, they were very, very sad, very, very afraid. A lot of, mental, psychological war.
And how have you been doing? Because obviously you got your two children back, which must be a huge sigh of relief, but your ex-husband still remains there. You lost your mother, you lost your niece.
Exactly. So it's that we are behind the attack of 7th of October, but we still in this situation. It's never finished. It's never finished yet, yeah? We are still very worried. There are still 133 kidnaps still there for 200 days already. Yeah. Starving and in very bad conditions. I know that I have the evidence from my children. And, it's 52 days, as I wrote in my book, that my children wasn't in holiday or vacation or a trip. They were kidnapped. And we mustn't forget that. At the 7th of October, I wrote that this is for the awareness, for the evidence, for the testimony, to give this testimony for that massacre that we had at the 7th of October.
I started reading your book, and something that struck me is that you yourself could have been abducted. You were this close to being abducted.
Exactly. Yes.
Tell us what happened.
And I survived. It's a miracle that I'm here.
Because you were hiding in a location near your house.
Yes.
For how many hours?
8 hours, even more. And I was surviving. I was fighting for my life. They've been just behind the door. I could hear them. They wanted to kill me, to murder me, and they murdered a quarter of my kibbutz, been murdered or kidnapped.
Nir Oz was one of the hardest hit.
Yes.
You're Franco-Israeli. Who did you liaise with to secure the release of your two children? Was it the French side? Was it the Israeli authorities? How did it work?
When you are in this kind of situation and your children and their father, actually 5 members of my family disappeared in one day. You shoot in the dark. You just do everything. You beg in, you scream, you you demand, you ask, you to anyone, to United States, to France, to Israel government, everywhere, to Qatar, because they all have the power to do something. They all involve.
And do you have?
I did everything.
Do you have any updates from anyone regarding Ofer?
We don't know nothing now. We don't have any ideas now, any information.
Now, you yourself said that this war has gone on 200 days. We know that Israel has managed to secure the release of 2 hostages, very few hostages. Now, the Israeli authorities say that there is an offensive for Rafah coming. If that happens, that could potentially put the lives of people like your ex-husband and the 133 other hostages at risk. Do you feel Israel is doing enough to secure the release of hostages, or is that on the back burner?
It's very complicated situation, very complicated, because we don't have really, our enemy is very cruel and very tough, and we can't really have this negotiation as we wish to have. So it's very difficult, but I do believe that we have to negotiation. It's the only way to make a deal to release them. It's the only way. I don't believe in the fight way. But
do you believe that a ceasefire should be called for to secure the release of hostages?
I believe we have to talk and to have a solution. I think we have all the big countries like Qatar and United States and France must make a big pressure to end this tragedy. This is the only way.
You start your book talking about your kibbutz, where you spent pretty much most of your life.
Yes.
Do you think that one day, once everything is over, that you could ever return, given of how much you have lost and seen in Nir Oz?
Sorry, what you're asking? If I'm going to go back there?
If you can ever one day envision...
To go back there?
Yeah.
Never.
Never. Where are you living now?
I don't have a house now. We are actually refugees in our country. I have a nice house now for about, I don't know for how long, and then I have to move on and find my place. But I don't really care about this now. I just care about to release the other hostage, because, they don't have time. I have time. They don't have time. It's very critical. We must release them before they will gone.
I want to end just by asking about your 2 children, Erez and Sahar. Have they spoken to specialists? Are they getting the help needed to sort of heal from their experience?
Yes, they do, but it's it's taking time. They need a time. It's hard work. They miss their father. They worry for their father, and nobody can help with that,
Yeah.
And they trying really hard to get to normal, regular life, but our life is not normal and not regular. We are still in this situation, very bad situation, and I want the whole world to remember it and don't forget it, because, there are so many things, other things that around us, and our awareness is going and attentions go to other things. But this 7th of October, we live the 7th of October every morning, every day. Every coffee I take, I think they don't have this coffee. Anything I eat, I think they can't eat now. They have maybe 1 pita in a day. And women get abused there every moment, even now. So we must release them. This is a message.
Hadas,
immediately.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. I know you've gone through a lot over the past over 6 months, and it's been a nightmare for you on many fronts. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me, and I really invite anyone who see me and listen to me to read the book, to read about the fight and the fight to bring my children home. and it wasn't easy.
And it'll be out in English soon. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.